Something about the Caribbean Netherlands Science Institute at Sint Eustatius. You've already heard about that in the presentations that were given by Dolby and the others. And if you paid attention to all these presentations, then probably you understand very well that our Ministry of Education, Culture and Science is very keen and happy to spend this much amount of science funding in the Caribbean region, because there is so much to do, there is so much new to discover, and so much challenging science to perform, that it is not a very strange idea to start this program of 10 million and also to build an institute at one of the Caribbean Netherlands islands that is able to support all this science. I'm not going into subjects or what kind of science you could do at this institute or whatever, because that's for the other presentations about. I'm just going to show what this facility looks like and what the background ideas about this facility were. This is the building that we have rented at Sint Eustatius. It is an old hotel. That means that the ground floor we can use as a laboratory, office space, exposition space and things like that. And the first floor we use for accommodation, because there are a few rooms available at this floor. The idea about this science center is multifunctional. It is not just to do research, but it is also to pay attention to education for the island of Sint Eustatius and the islands around Sint Eustatius, especially through means of outreach, to show what this island is about, what the Caribbean islands are about, and to teach the people all different kinds of aspects that the researchers, the science can come up with. It is for, let's say, all kinds of research. So basic research, strategic research, applied research, but also especially policy and societal relevant research. The Caribbean Netherlands islands are now part of the Netherlands, of course. That doesn't mean that we should only go there to do interesting research. No, that means that the Netherlands has a shared responsibility with the island governments to come up with knowledge which is essential also for policy decisions and societal issues. So the Ministry of Economic Affairs is, of course, very interested. The Ministry of Infrastructure and Environment could also find support from this institute. And it is also for all different fields of science, the natural sciences, the life sciences, the social sciences and humanities, or even as we try to arrange cross-cutting issues between these different forms of sciences, maybe even transdisciplinary science proposals, which would be a real challenge if you could come up with that. And I think actually, and there was a question about why is economy not mentioned in the subject in this call. Maybe economy you could see as some kind of basis on which multi or transdisciplinary science could be based, because if you look at the ecosystem services, that's economy. If you look at all those other aspects of climate change, has all to do with economy. If you look at social development, etc., it also has to do with economy. So I think economy is indeed a very important topic. So that's the only thing I'm going to mention about the topic, by the way. So what is this institute going to do? It's going to provide facilities like office space, workspace, laboratories. Apart from that, exposition space. Show what the island is about, show something about cultural history, show things about natural history, show the archaeological issues, findings of at the island or the other Caribbean islands. We can provide, or the people who want to make use of the Institute can organize workshops, give lectures. We intend to have a video conferencing system available, also that can also be used for distant learning. Of course, we try to get the best ICT facility that is available at St. Eustatius, and actually I've been told that the glass fiber is almost up to the front of this institute already. Maybe I have to dig a little bit further, but promises. And what I mentioned already, accommodation for the people who want to spend some time at the island. And of course a boat and a car. Okay, briefly about the mission of the Institute. Of course, it is to strengthen the cooperation between the European and Caribbean Netherlands through science, through working together on mutual issues. To create an area, a space, a visitor center where people can meet each other, can find information about their environment, not just on let's say, the fishes in the sea, but also on how did we came here, where did we come from, what is our relation with the other islands, what is our relation with Africa, what is our relation with the vegetables we eat or do not eat at the island, and why are certain things growing here and not somewhere else. To realize a permanent accommodation for research and education so that people can continue to find a basis from which they can perform their research or other activities. To foster capacity building, to go to the schools, to invite the school children over, to show, well, to organize science fairs, for instance, with the people, the school children at the island. And already mentioned the importance of the economy. It also is to encourage some kind of sustainable socio-economic impulse for the island, for the region, and maybe for a much larger number of islands. One of the basic drivers for this institute is the sustainable economy of small islands, or the sustainable economy of small tropical islands, which doesn't only apply for the small islands of the Caribbean Netherlands, but also of other islands in the Caribbean and even worldwide, for instance in the Southeast Asian region. Okay, this is St. Eustatius. It's a very small island. This red star gives the location of our main office at the island. The Caribbean Netherlands Science Institute at St. Eustatius has 3 locations, a main office and 2 branches. The main office is almost in the center of the island. Well, it looks like this. This is the ground floor. And to give you an impression of what it could look like, I just skipped through a few slides. This was the bar, but it will become some kind of information center. Here we would like to build an exposition place for permanent or rotating expositions. This will be our meeting room, our main meeting room. There will be a second one. Here we would like to have a small chemical lab, and next door another room for lab activities. Here we will have the office of the staff of the institute. This will be an apartment for guests or the director or who else, with a living and a kitchen. Outdoor terrace. Second floor, we will have, there's no text here, 5 rooms for 2 persons. And 2 rooms for 3 persons. So altogether, we have 16 beds at the second floor. And of course with new sanitary. One room we will use as a, a kitchen, a mutual kitchen. And at the back there will be a nice terrace to drink a beer after the hard work, or a glass of water, cola, whatever. Okay, then I would like to go to the second place. The second branch. This is at the harbor, where we would like to prepare to build a marine station. This is provided by the island government, and it, for instance, has a possibility for mesocosm facilities where you can do research with running seawater. We can put some containers there for storage, or freezers and refrigerators. Close to the sea. This is how it could look like. For instance, we still have to build all these facilities, of course. Then the third location, it is also at the middle of the island. This is a place where there is a large terrestrial area, which can be used for instance, agricultural test fields like this, or test fields where you can study the problem of grazing goats, exclosures, enclosures, and what else you can think of. The land station. Very briefly, the organization of the institute. The money follows this green line. It comes from the Ministry of OCW through NWO, NIOZ, and then to St. Eustatius. We will make use of an advisory committee. But for today, the most important thing that I would like to focus your attention on is this. User groups. For this institute to become a success, I heavily depend on the researchers who want to come there and do nice research and, well, initiate some dynamics and some, well, an academic culture. But for the researcher to come there, of course, they should be able to use these facilities. 5 minutes? Okay. I would like to match as closely as possible the needs for the researchers in these facilities. So the idea is that you and other people who want to make use of the institute and the facilities, they could get together in different user groups and discuss the facilities they need. And then we have a small budget to purchase these facilities. So the plan is now to have 4 or 5. It depends a little bit on how relevant these user groups will be. to have these groups established, and a leader of each of these groups discuss with the director of the institute the needs for certain facilities. And then we can prioritize these facilities, can come up with an investment plan, and ask the board of the institute to endorse this investment plan, and then we can get these facilities at Sint-Eustatius available. The board consists of NIOZ, the island board of Sint-Eustatius, Imares Wageningen, Naturalis, KITLV, and Archaeology Leiden. So one of the discussions that I would like to start, if there is time this afternoon, is how could we organize these user groups in such a way that the funds that are available for facilities match as closely as possible the needs of the researchers. Okay, then very briefly, I think it's probably also in the call what the relevance of the institute would be to this NWO call. I've summarized them here. Okay, accommodation for researchers, workspace, laboratory facilities, lab space. There will be empty tables on which the researchers can put their own equipment and plug it in, and hopefully it runs. ICT facilities, video conferencing, just a meeting place, to organize workshops or whatever. There's a car and a boat. Of course, I would like to mediate for any kind of facility or research you want to do involving other people that, for instance, have a boat or have something else that you would like to use, or some specific equipment, for instance. If it is within my capacity to organize that, just explain the user groups, that you will be able to say something about how a part of the money of the institute is spent on facilities, a mesocosm, test field, storage, dry, cool, frozen, whatever. And then, of course, it is not all for free, but negotiable if you want to make use of these facilities. And it depends, of course, on what you come for and what you want to do at the institute. But if you really contribute to the building of this institute by bringing in a certain kind of equipment, and that equipment can become part of the infrastructure of the institute, of course, then we negotiate a fee that is smaller than people who just come there and only make use of the infrastructure without bringing additional infrastructure to the institute. So I think that if it is possible, that also the institute can profit for its infrastructure from the funding by NWO, by getting infrastructure over to Sint-Eustatius and leaving it there after the research is finished. Or if researchers come over with their own specific equipment, they could also have other people making use of that equipment to try to get it used as efficient as possible. Yeah, that was my contribution. Thank you.